Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I have got a short video, just 10 minutes, to show you how I made this elegant Mother's Day card featuring the Tulips combo from Waffle Flower Crafts. If you want to see how I made this card, then keep watching. First, a look at the supplies. I've got some walnut stain distress oxide and some wood grain cardstock. I've got the Tulips combo, the additional oval layers dies, also from Waffle Flower, some Gina K embossing powder and Versamark, and my Misti, which is already loaded up with my cardstock. I am going to get started by doing some ink blending. So this wood grain cardstock is from the Essentials by Ellen line from ellenhudson.com, and I wanted it to be brown, and this is kind of going to make like an oval wreath on my card for my tulips to sit on. So I am just adding some color, not taking a lot of time to blend this out because a typical wood grain, would look pretty varied. So just a quick color layer. And now I'm going to move on to the stamping. So I've got my Bristle Smooth cardstock. I've used my anti-static powder tool for my embossing, stamp with Versamark ink, and then using that gold embossing powder to get those tulip images to show up. From there, I heat set, and then we will move on to the coloring. I've used my Zig favorite combo swatch there to pick out some colors. So now I'm going to do a little bit of Zig clean color real brush marker coloring. And while I'm doing that, I thought I would just have a little chat with you guys. Obviously, this is a really odd time for a lot of us with COVID-19 and coronavirus. And a lot of us are home. You may know this. I work from home full time and have been doing that since the start of this year. And so it's kind of fun for a lot of people to experience what I experience every day, which is work from home. Funny enough, the day that this is posted on Tuesday the 17th, St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day. My husband is starting work from home, so he'll also be home with me. But as a lot of us are home with kids or just because work is closed and things like that, I want to be producing more content for you all to watch. I think a lot of us right now are, YouTube for me and watching craft videos is such a stress release. And so I want to be able to provide that for people. And so I'm going to be trying to produce more content for you all during this time. So if there is something specific that you want me to make, some cards that you want me to make, or styles, if you wanted me to make more floral cards or more interactive cards or whatever it might be, I'd love to hear those suggestions so that I can make content that you want to be watching during this time. For all of the coloring, I'm just using a 2-color blend. I did pull out some purples, but in the end I did not use them. I ended up doing both tulips in red, and then all of my leaves are all in the same colors as well. I love these markers a lot. They're some of my favorite to color with. I find it best to work with them on Bristol Smooth cardstock, and so that's what I'm using today. All of the supplies that I have used are linked and listed down below in the description box. Let me know down in the comments how everybody is faring. I know so many people are out of work, and that's really a scary time. Like I said, I'm so fortunate and blessed during this time that I still have a job to go to, but I know that isn't the case for everyone. And so I'd love to hear how everybody is doing and maybe some of the fun things that you are doing while you practice social distancing, which I feel like should definitely be the word of the year for 2020. I know it's only March, but I just feel it. We're talking about that a lot. All right, moving on, I'm going to do some of the die cutting here. So I've got the die cut for the tulips, and then for the wreath, I'm just going to take 2 ovals basically one apart. So there's one oval that would cut in between these, and just line these up and cut them out so that I get a frame. I think that's a really unique way that you can use some of your layering die cuts, is to make frames with them. So that's what I'm doing here with these ovals. It is kind of tricky to get them lined up perfectly, but just do the best that you can. And then I'm using some purple tape to keep these in place while I run them through my die cut machine. For a die cut machine, I use the Gemini Junior. That's my favorite machine. So just going to go ahead and get these secured, and then I can, like I said, run them through my machine. And from that point on, it's really just assembly, and I still do need to get my sentiment down. So I've got my card base, which is Nina Classic Crest Solar Y 110 pound, and I've scored it. And now I'm just going to start to line this up to see where inside of my oval wreath I am going to stamp my greeting and my sentiment, which is going to be Happy Mother's Day. It comes from this Tulips Stamp Set from Waffle Flower. And I've got it all lined up where I think I'm going to adhere. And then what I'm going to do is take out my stamp set, take out that image, and then I can get it where I want it, and then bring all of this over to my Misti to make sure that this gets stamped exactly where I want it. I could stamp this on a different panel and then adhere that panel to my card base, but for the sake of paper, I thought it was just easier to emboss this greeting directly onto the card base. I'm going to use the exact same embossing powder, that Gina K Fine Detail Gold, and use that for the sentiment so that it matches what is on the tulips. So now I've got some twine. This is from Lawn Fawn, and I am going to tie these tulips to my wreath, just giving it a little bit more of a kind of farmhouse look, if you will, and get that tied on. I will also use some glue to keep these in place. Now this die cut makes this really easy because it cuts between the flowers, so it's easy to add this on. And I'm just going to tie a simple bow, nothing fancy, and I just think that this adds a little detail, and I think twine is one of those things that I bet a lot of us have in our stash but don't use all that often, so it was a good chance to use it up. I'm just going to trim the excess twine off, and then I will go ahead and grab my Lawn Fawn glue tube and just put a couple little dabs of glue so that the flowers are actually adhered to that wreath. Just a little bit of this glue will do. It's very strong. From there, all that's left for us to do is adhere the wreath to the card front, and I chose to use foam tape for this, so I cut it up into slivers and adhered it all around the flowers and around the oval wreath base. And once I've got all of that backing paper off, I can adhere this down onto my card front, and that completes the card for today. I hope that you enjoyed this card and that maybe it brought a little bit of a bright point to your day, and I hope that all of you are well and stay healthy. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you will subscribe to see more from me. Hit the bell so you receive my notifications, and I will see you in the next one.